say what nothing na say also ye NDC lawyer anti both MPP for be no more compare Honorable Kennedy the fact say me ni what issue no mo compare sa cases ni me no a enye ye me dey say the assembly system no the fact say me ni what issue no nche say me hu no kra menka say the assembly system na meka no mo compare Honorable Kennedy Agyapong case no to Kevin Taylor de na enye ye because Kevin Taylor case no time e wo mramu na na kire mu time e wo mramu enti mo man entrase me nkase me ni wo issue ntino na me de compare say Honorable Kennedy Agyapong ye bi no Supreme Court kwase ye na NDC lawyers na post social media say the same thing in the case of the Republic versus High Court ex-party Kennedy Agyapong mo compare bia mo sa lawyers na mo draw sa comparison mo law awu. The facts of the case are not the same. The issue yeah can one same and the same ayi. Near the kind Kennedy Agyapong there no or attack a judge no and a judge in issue contempt proceedings. And a Kennedy Agyapong call Supreme Court within that month no and a Supreme Court to quash judge in decision no. So fact Kevin Taylor Diana. The law of sexual right. Lawyers now muntie me no. They should and challenge me. Where a legal issue na ye kan wasem. Na yem fan say Supreme Court judgment no. Omu follow legal process ya na. Omu follow their own rules. Omu follow law due process no omu follow ya na. Enti Kennedy Agyapong dia na that simple. Ya issue contempt. Ana High Court issue contempt we didi judge atem. Enti okwa Supreme Court to say wo mo nkwa kwase the judge ne ye no. Ana okwa ye no wakwa we ni. Ana ofa Kevin Taylor dia na Odidi judge na tem no. And a judge in issue contempt. The law of contempt. Me pelo ya niya. Obetima frame number. Na me dina ko lie. No aka say nyesa na tie. The law of sexual right no. Se court to be take decision. Na se decision no. Ene 23rd July 2025. And a judge say, Yemfa Abronye emra ewo nanim. Na Abronye machire die ntia ye site contempt ya enye yi. And na 23rd no me were up to 6 months to challenge the judge decision in the form of or by way of sexual right application. And you take a decision in 23rd July 2025. Me was 6 months to challenge the decision by way of sexual right application until July to January 23rd, 2026. Not just say 6 months now and Mranich say judge be take a decision. Not say me person me go by sexual right application. The law is that you have 6 months. After 6 months, you cannot apply for sexual right. That is the law. Lawyer for them free. Number no, ewaha free. Anafa o message bra. Sameboa. That is the law of sexual right. Say, and 23rd, judge ya take a decision. Some person may appeal. Nam pese sexual right and it say. Me kwakwa to akwashi decision no e different from appeal. Different from appeal. Appeal there wo call for the entire proceedings in nyina say court no ntnase no nya re-evaluation. But when there wo kwa say omunko to that particular decision ngu because baby atichema eno na ye call by sexual right application. Na mramunu time I would be call for Sessorara, no, and I take a decision, no, who was 6 months. No, what could challenge Sessorara application. Ofa Kevin Taylor, Diana, you take a decision 2020, February 2020, and now 5 years near 5 years, 5 months. Say, you can only challenge a decision by way of sexual application within a 6 months period. After the 6 months, I expire, you can only go for an extension of time. So, what Supreme Court wa? Supreme Court no mubu asem no. Where the High Court rules no, or 6 months to challenge a decision of the High Court by way of sexual right. What Supreme Court or the Supreme Court rules no? Emma ho kwan say ube ko by way of sexual right application. You have 90 days. That is 3 months. Rule 62 of CI 16. Supreme Court man kasa womudi asem no womo wuru su ne say some person challenge decision be was Supreme Court wa. Oh, 3 months to do that. In this case now womudi call Supreme Court no, it was a High Court decision. And it's a High Court decision there. So we should see I-47 in there. Now Kevin Taylor was 6 months to challenge that decision. Only 6 months. From 2020 to 2025. How many months? At therefore, a seminar ye can ba nentre mo nyina no. And so bit babina so or criticize the Supreme Court ruling na say na seminar tie. And until lawyers in binum say we a political judgment. Say na something that me probably about challenge me. Say asema me kai me boa. Abawie yes Supreme Court akasa obi ankwada. Wa officer yembe how no to bentwa esi unchen. Supreme Court akasa ubo wa ye de bentwa na akakaduro betua amakoyira wa meswa ka ho bi. Man ben ye say ubo wa Supreme Court de bentwa meswa akakaduro sri wusa fam wisa nyina be ka ho e de agya okwane. Asem ben ye until lawyers in Binum say a political decision of which I agree with them perfectly. Yes, you have 6 months, the statutory period within which to challenge a decision by way of sexual right. 6 months. That is a statutory period. Case we had the whole 2020 up to 2025. 5 years, 5 months. Na say 6 months no expire. Your free be extension of time within which to file. And to ba kwa kwasira court no say nanka me wo akwanya se me challenge decision no. Na mom enam circumstances binti akwantuo ni aduma munti yade bi ebo minti no that 6 month period no mantimi an challenge decision no ama 6 months na so enti court no stand emra ne mame per the rules of the court no wo ho kwan se obehwe explanation na wodi ama no na expiration na aka wa want man call for that application no na court no I extend it no ma grant request na yede amount. In this case Kevin Taylor one the most surprise thing is that Kevin Taylor and call for extension of time say 6 months period I win into a select court to say woman man extension one court because only na oye and one say what the dead application no court for sexual right are within the law no awu and tie bisa say court no etimi tenase Esuomotu ye say, even though a time now we Kevin Taylor to come by way of sexual right, by your grantee extension, and what you Quashed decision, Nana. These are the questions I say besides Supreme Court. And we have every right to ask the Supreme Court questions. Criticizing the Supreme Court does not amount to insult. Criticizing the Supreme Court does not amount to insult. Yeah, me did judge be attempt to send a Kevin Taylor. Did judges for attempt. And my judge Barbie say, Akrabini, one of the Supreme Court judges, a chimpana. Producers, monstrous video no matter. On what kind? Or so my judge, Kevin Taylor, and my judge, 24-hour ultimatum say, Obeguna Nimase, judge, was Supreme Court or your bar. Or say, I only a crabby chimpana. Yeah, me did judge be at no bina crabby chimpana. Would they demu any day them? I know you was him. And yeah, no, yaka. Now we have every right to criticize the judgment. Now, yeah, beside questions to say. Tambena Kevin Taylor apply for extension of time within which to apply for to apply for a sexual right. Tambena will apply. And it's court here on the court own motion and not guarantee that extension of time now. I'm yet to receive the ruling. Our Tnanopa near de Bana de Baba. Naya Babam Nimashe, how at the end here. But Oman quite sans say, ya may come once a me. A piano Kevin Taylor follow yes. 6 months deadline, no, I come and yes, I may call for extension of time. 1 year BBBA. And on what basis? And a near can cross Supreme Court. And to me, assuming jurisdiction, a determined matter. Because the application, even the application before the court, no, are incompetent. Application is incompetent. And how come a Supreme Court will preside over an incompetent application and gave a ruling to favor a Nipana or the incompetent application by? These are the questions we should ask. One, the application is incompetent because 6 months period to apply for a sexual no, I come. There was no extension of time for him to apply for that sexual right. And the court to know on what basis? Wamwana in their own motion, Wamaka say, even though Asukrana, Wama grantia manana, incompetent application. And ye bisa say, Inka yani bi, Obia only be, Obia wa insa one prison, wako via banchi. And time asu say 6 months, court was say 6 months, onye bibi. And 6 months na pa ho and a nipa ne this application by ya ka Supreme Court no be grant ya manana. We are asking Sanko be grant ya manana. These are the questions. And Friday you digest one more reason no na ya de atoto ne America hu sanity ya. And Supreme Court no any right to say one more in their own motion no one be granted Kevin Taylor extension of time, one request for because it's a sexual right application, and it's a time not so not a nipanam follow rules no, not so the application not application out of time. Supreme Court no, and Yamona mobile quarter to be application amano. And Yamona mobile quarter to be application for sexual right before the Supreme Court no, not Kevin Taylor was out of time, and Tiada mo grante mano. Producers, mumisa questions, the application Kevin Taylor was out of time in the sexual application. So how come the Supreme Court a granting application applicant out of time or out of time the application is incompetent and dead on arrival? And Obia will write, I will side with the lawyers now. Wamonka say a bad precedent. Hey, what's say? A bad precedent. Say somebody who was out of time, somebody who is out of time to apply for a particular application. Now 1 year, not judges need to meet last year. Near say they are granted. Mutimima incompetent application by incompetent at the apex court. At the apex court. Incompetent application by a competent. And you think some of us young can watch them incompetent application. Not time I read Nipano. Now or this application now by the Supreme Court are entertaining. Rules now modi ya jumano and Supreme Court. The rules say even in your own decision, Supreme Court decision, if you want to challenge it by way of sexual right, you have 90 days. So how come a Supreme Court will sit down and preside over an incompetent application? I have 5 years, sexual right application.